I received an email from Andy recently who drew my attention to a riddle surrounding the Scottish electronic band Boards of Canada and their album GeoGuardi. He said they're a cryptic band who hide a lot of subliminal messages in their music and go to great lengths to encrypt messages into their songs on a technical level. They're fascinated by radio transmissions and number stations. He explained that there's one track on the 2002 album GeoGuardi called Diving Station, and it's long been speculated that the track has a message hidden inside it. He said he managed to decipher the message around 12 years ago but lost the file, and since then hasn't been able to recreate it. Andy has been trying to get other Boards of Canada fans on the band's forum Twoism to try and get this message decrypted. He's even provided everybody with instructions on how to decrypt the message, however nobody seems to have done it yet. He went on to explain that there's a clue on the label on the vinyl on side 6, where you'll find the non-existent track called Magic Window. Well, it's 1 minute 46 seconds of complete silence, and it's actually on the other side. Pressed into side 6, however, is the outline of a family. On the label is printed 162.225 MHz. Nobody has ever come up with a decent explanation about what this frequency means in relation to the album, apart from the fact that it's, quote, used for weather reports. So we have two mysteries here. The first is the hidden message that's inside the track Diving Station, and the other, the meaning of 162.225 MHz. Some discussion has taken place online, and it seems that people are counting on me, so let's investigate. I've bought the CD and the vinyl, so Andy, I hope this is going to be worth it. Interestingly, one of the things that sparked some investigation work from Boards of Canada fans is the fact that 162.225 MHz only appears on the vinyl edition of the album. It's nowhere to be seen on the CD edition, but the blank track Magic Window is there. Let's look at the hidden message first. The track which this is allegedly in is called Diving Station. I've ripped the track in WAV format as Andy suggested. He isn't the first person to propose the possibility of a hidden message in the track. A few Reddit posts mention this, but none have managed to get to the bottom of the mystery. The message allegedly says, GeoGuardi, coming over, and in the background there are apparently radio tuning sounds. Andy provided some instructions on how to edit and process the audio in order to hear it. First, he said we need to speed up the track to 357% or 400% until it's 2 or 2.3 seconds long. The file must be WAV, not FLAC or MP3. Next, we have to split the track in half and reverse the first second. This is apparently the portion of the track that contains the word GeoGuardi. Then we need to take the second part and pitch it down quite a lot, and perhaps change the speed slightly. Then when this is finished, we should hear a Scottish accent say, GeoGuardi coming over, and apparently the radio tuning sounds and interference in the background. So there is something there. I'm not hearing the words GeoGuardi coming over as clear as I'd hoped, and maybe if I didn't know in my own mind what it was supposed to say, I perhaps wouldn't hear it either. It appears that many others aren't too, but you can, I think, hear something that resembles the phrase GeoGuardi coming over, especially after you clip off the last few milliseconds. Some people have suggested that if the whole track is sped up to 11.5 seconds long, then it sounds like somebody's saying we hate you all, but I didn't hear this. You can clearly hear the sound of a diver breathing oxygen, which is possibly a tie-in with the name of the track. If anybody wants to give this a go and post their findings in the comments below, then feel free. So now let's take a look at where the frequency 162.225 MHz may have come from. In the UK, the frequency has always been allocated to PMR or private mobile radio. Radiocom Systems Limited has a repeater down in London on this frequency today, and in the past it was allocated to things like taxis, security and local councils, so there's nothing of significance there. In the USA, the frequency has been used by the US Coast Guard, the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, the US Air Force, the Department of Labor, the Veterans Association, the US Postal Service, and medical services, to name just a few over the years. Magic Window is a blank track. One fan claimed that when he pressed his ear to the mesh of his speakers, he could hear faint drum patterns, almost like Morse code. Ripping the WAV file and inspecting it reveals absolutely nothing but a silent track. Boards of Canada have said in an interview that Magic Window's purpose is to give listeners a moment after the album ends before switching to something else. Another theory relates to magic windows, a group of frequencies which, according to Thomas E. Bearden, are especially suited for coupling to and bringing energies from other dimensions. Another source seems to imply that such frequencies could be used to communicate from one dimension to another, a ridiculous notion in my opinion, but each to their own. The range of frequencies that most of these magic windows fall under are well above human hearing. More than likely, they're intended to be accessed using electromagnetic means, i.e. a device that creates an electromagnetic field. Bearden's words, not mine. 150 to 160 kHz is listed as one of these magic windows, and Boards of Canada fans are making the link between this and 162.225 MHz by suggesting that megahertz should have been printed as kilohertz, but I don't buy this theory at all. Others seem to think that maybe the frequency was printed as a mistake, but Boards of Canada and the record label would have had total editorial control over the album art and everything, and it would have been checked, double-checked and triple-checked before going to print and press. 162.225 MHz was definitely supposed to appear on the vinyl label. So I'm slightly disappointed. When I got this tip from Andy, I hoped we'd hear some sort of hidden voice message. Maybe Andy and others played with the settings more to retrieve the message. I don't doubt what Andy told me or what he says he heard either, and I appreciate the tip. Hopefully this video will give the mystery some exposure and inspire people to play with the track and see what they can find. Boards of Canada in their own words said, however, "We realise that there are some people who would listen to our records, but instead of listening to the music, they'd start looking for some hidden things immediately. People will look for secret things now in this record, even if there aren't any." Let me know what you think in the comments below.